Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, when we look at the world today, we are in a timeline that the physical power becoming more important. This means physical health. And when it comes to power, like a few years back when we look at the world, people used to more talk about the nuclear power. And all over the world, and the most of the leaders was trying to increase their nuclear powers. And another thing is the energy. And they mostly talk about how they can become powerful with the energy. And not only that, there are some other countries, people try to struggle and become advanced with the economical powers. So, but today, when we look at the society, more than that anything else, most of countries now start to focus to this health. And this all the powers is very necessary for conventional life. And even you become healthy. So when it comes to this energy, the physical energy is very necessary to maintain a life. But you have to remember this physical energy as of this human body always come as a result of our spiritual energy. Because without spiritual empower, without spiritual development, your life cannot have a physical energy. So we mostly talk about our immunity, but sometimes still people more try to get it kind of like a way with this material and physical way. So you have to remember, health is important. But the more than the health, more than this physical health, your spiritual development is important. Because you can become a healthy person for 100 years sometimes. But still, you are spiritually not developed. It's going to bring greater harm to this world. So, more than any other things, then you have to look how you can develop your spiritual practice and spiritually how you can be healthy. So that should be the main focus. And in day-to-day life, when you parenting your children, you remember more than any other thing, try to teach them how they can become spiritually healthy. Even ourselves in day-to-day life, you try to do many other activities. And you do exercise, you take multivitamins, and you take good food. This everything necessary. But at the same time, if you don't care, if you neglect your spiritual practice, remember, this everything going to go away. And in end of the journey, you're going to have a hard time. That's because this is the very nature of life. Our very life itself start with the spirit. So then developing your spirituality, uplifting your spirituality is necessary. It doesn't matter in any condition, in anywhere, in any position. If anybody not become spiritual, then what will happen? the whatever the environment going to become very different. So then as parents, and remember, as a husband, as a wife, as children, as a friends and family members, it is your personal responsibility yourself to become spiritual. Because when you become spiritual, and as a result of that, other people going to change. And sometimes we try to change other people, we try to change the environment, we wishing for the good always, but it not going to happen. So it is your spiritual change. If it is your spiritual behavior has power to change around you, you have no choice. Why? Because you became like this because of the spirit. So that spirit means the condition of the nature. So then you have to surrender to nature. That is the best way to become spiritual. And another way we call it we become natural. So we are more mentally artificial. We are mentally kind of like the second class people. We are not the original itself, ourselves, who we are. We are kind of like a dummy that has a different form. But it is your responsibility to uplift your original form, very organic being itself. So if you develop that, it's your spiritual vitality, your spiritual energy, when it uplifts itself, as a result of that, you gain the contentment, satisfaction, happiness. So there is no any other way. We have to accept it. And if you look for that and you have to surrender to that, you have to get into that. So then remember, while you practicing with this, the physical, and people, and during this time period, people try to go to gym, and at the same time they are try to more focused regarding their immunity. But if you neglect your spiritual practice, so remember, whatever happen, wherever you go, how long you live, even you feel very healthy physically, but that doesn't mean you're going to be complete inside. So to develop that spirituality, there are 5 qualities that you have to develop. When you develop these 5 qualities, what will happen? Your spiritual vitality going to become stronger. It's like taking spiritual multivitamin in every day. So as a human being, each and every human being need to practice this 5. There is no choice, because our very life depending from this others and outside. So that's why we have to understand, we are not kind of like a self-centered, egocentric, that the unchangeable, with the unchangeable consciousness, we have that we cannot build up authority. So then ourselves, when we understand this and develop with this ourselves, with these qualities, our life going to become more comfortable. So the very first thing, when it comes to these qualities to develop your spirituality, spiritual vitality, spiritual energy, the very first thing that you have to develop, Shraddha, conviction, the faith. Regarding what? Regarding the truth, regarding the wisdom, just regarding the knowledge, or regarding the very essence of the nature. And always remember that. Look for the truth. And it doesn't matter watch the TV, watch a movie, hear, listening to songs, so what, reading a book. So whatever you do, have the faith, keep the conviction regarding the truth. So sometimes we see the truth and it is in front of us. So why that we not going to accept it? Why we not going to talk about it? Why we forget it? We see the truth, but we have no power to accept it. Because we don't develop a faith regarding the truth. So the very basic foundation, remember, to come out of this all the miseries, and even in the conventional life and even spiritual life, to have a very comfortable life yourself. And as a person yourself, to have the peace, harmony, tranquility state within yourself. The very first thing that you have to have the faith. Faith regarding the good. The faith regarding the right. And when it comes to that, the Buddha is the most highest, the person achieved to that. So then we reminding the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha, we have the faith regarding it. Or maybe you have to have a higher purpose in your life. And according to your religion, have the faith regarding the highest, whatever you want to achieve. So that is the first foundation. You cannot just live as according to whatever the day-to-day thoughts come to your mind, or whatever the things that in day-to-day happening. If you can live it, if you have very sharp and clear mind, but as ordinary people, we cannot live like that way. So that's why you have to build your life with the faith. So the faith will guide you and protect you and keep you in the right path towards the confidence and the satisfaction. When you lose the faith regarding the truth or regarding the higher place, and according to the day-to-day situation, when things go up and down, and sometimes you collapse. The most of people lose their life. Most of people give up their situations. Most of children, even the in education, they give up this everything because they don't have the faith. They don't develop their life with this spiritual foundation. Because in life, there's nothing come easy. Even your parents work so hard and give everything, and sometimes if you don't have the faith, you cannot get the best out of it. But believe me, if you have the faith, and if you have faith and the higher purpose, even nobody to give anything to you, but still you have power to manifest that things around you. That is the power of the faith and the conviction. So in the very first level, when you don't have it, what will happen? You always depending from this outside situations and fight with people, argue with people, blame to people. And always you try to claim situations regarding the outside conditions. That way your life cannot go forward. It itself going to become miserable. So then remember yourself, develop the faith inside you, have a higher purpose, always look regarding your own life and see where you want to end this life. So that is very necessary as an ordinary person. If you don't have it, what will happen? Even very little things can hurt you. Maybe other people have no intention to do something bad for you, but yourself, you take any situation as bad, and then you get hurt yourself. No one can cure it. And then you get disappointed, anxiety, depression, And those are the most dangerous disease than any other things. Look at the world today, and we always counting regarding this virus death. But no one think about more than the virus. All over the world, people suicide. And people try to find the medicine for the virus. But more than any other time, how these people start to get into this kind of suicide situations. All the most of the young people losing the faith regarding their life. How it is possible? And the day before yesterday, I heard this in the close by this uh, one child, 24 years old in Calabasas. He related to the Elvis Presley's life, the family. So I was thinking, how it is possible this kind of this children suicide like that way? Because the parents like to give everything and thinking that to express their love, but they don't give the understanding regarding the very nature of life. So then remember, teach children to develop the faith and at least 5 minutes every day to do some chanting, meditation, or whatever spiritual practice prayers is necessary. Same like you brushing your teeth, you washing your face, you doing your hair, you doing your nails. So you go to salons once a while. See, during this time period, people so crazy to go to salon. But are you crazy regarding sit for 5 minute meditation? So develop that. It is okay. It is good to you keep nice yourself. You maintain your physical very comfortably and in nice way, beautiful way. It is good. But at the same time, are you focused to that deeper level of foundation of your life? So why, if the foundation disappear, whatever you put top on it, not going to work. So even you go to salon, when before you do the makeup, there you put foundation on it. So if the foundation come right, and on the top of the foundation, whatever the makeup you use, and it's going to be with you. So if the foundation doesn't work, what will happen? The right complexion not going to come out of it. Right color appearance not going to be there. So then yourself remember, spiritually the same. In the long term run, this our life has the same thing. So do whatever and start to get into a spiritual foundation. Develop your conviction regarding the higher purpose. And that is important. And the next one is the self-discipline. So the discipline come out of when you are practicing with something. So naturally you get into discipline. So the discipline, especially you have to have discipline. So mostly, so that the discipline related with just becoming, if you say, I don't do this, I don't do that, that doesn't make any sense. So when you develop the discipline, and sometimes people don't want to practice any kind of discipline. So discipline, it kind of like a investment for your life. So the discipline come out of when you have the spiritual foundation and when you have a higher purpose. Related with that higher purpose, you stay away from certain things. And then you start to practice certain things according to that. So that way, then what will happen? You slowly reach to your success. So every day, everybody like to reach to their success, and they're looking for success, convention that and spiritual both. But look at the world, day by day, we become failures in the both side. We don't get any kind of material success and we don't get any kind of spiritual success. Why? Because we go with the wrong discipline. That's why. If you get into the right disciplinary code and you're going to end with the right result. So then you have to look when you have a higher purpose and start to develop a disciplinary code according to that higher purpose, and whatever you don't do need to help for your spiritual development or the whatever towards it should take you to the purpose of your higher purpose. So that way, little by little, your lives move forward and develop. So if you are not developing your life with the spiritually, remember, it doesn't matter the physically you grow, it's invalid, it become invalid life. So that's why this spiritual foundation is important. And the third one is the Shruta. The Shruta means that always you have to keep the open mind and never stop learning in conventionally. Every day try to get something to yourself and keep practice. So mostly we become lazy and we don't want to even repeat what we know. At least if you cannot get new things, just keep repeating what you know. Even enlightened masters, once they attain to the enlightenment, they don't give up. They don't just go to sleep like bears. No, they start to repeat what they learn, what they discovered. They start to repeat again and again and again and again. And not only that, they start to share it with others. They don't stop their life because they attain to enlightenment. Look, even they attain to the highest level, what they does. Even the Buddha himself, once he attained to the Buddhahood, the very first thing he did, he reflect on his own wisdom. So how about you? Forget about attaining to enlightenment. How about you? End of the day, are you reflecting at least what you did? Or you just fell down to sleep and maybe you watching TV, or maybe you keep eating something and then you just go down, falling to sleep on your couch, and maybe the wherever on the floor or maybe wherever. Do you think you can attain, if you cannot just consciously go to sleep, do you think you can attain to the success in life? No, it's not going to happen. The way the person sleep can tell he going to attain to success or not. That, and mostly that the parents knew in the ancient time, the parents knew, our high priest knew, and then they know according to the way the child walk, and according to the way the little monk cleaned the temple, and the way the people eat. People know how what kind of character inside. So the same thing with yourself. Don't stop learning. Don't keep your ignorance as your bliss, and you don't kind of like feed your ignorance. Every day learn something, and you know yourself how many difficulties happen to your life and so far in your life, and what kind of mistake you have done. Why? Because we didn't have very clear understanding. So it is okay, you made a mistake, it is okay. But today, and try to learn yourself in the future not to make that kind of mistakes. And every day try to learn something. There are many other ways, and more than any other time, we are so lucky. We have so much facilities to gain the wisdom. No one can stop it. like 10 years back, 20 years back, to gain the wisdom. And sometimes we have to go behind the people, we have to go behind the teachers to get kind of like a wisdom. If whoever know the knowledge, and he has power to give his favor to a student sometimes, and it's kind of like a politicians. To get a book or learn something, you have to always go behind them. But today it's not like that. It is all up to us. And so you have so much freedom to learn anything today. So then remember yourself. Try to develop yourself as much as you can. You had the dream inside you. When you, as a child, you had the dream to become somebody. And maybe on the way, because of you get into the wrong husband or the wrong wife or the wrong children or the wrong environment, wrong situations, you fell down to that because of the lack of understanding. You know that. And sometimes you get into a situation, it's not your choice. Maybe your parents took decisions regarding you, and maybe other people took decisions regarding you, and there were situations came to you. You have no choice. You just have to accept whatever in front of you. We went through like that. This all happened to us in the deeper level. We miss something inside spiritual development. Because when you are spiritually strong, when you are spiritually clear, these things somehow going to pass. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen to you, but even it happened, it's going to take you to the right place. So then remember yourself, never stop learning. That's going to become the power. Look at the world today. We think that we educated and we think we have so much power, we think we have so much knowledge. Look at the world. How difficult for us to find a well-educated leader. When you look at the parliament all over the world, it is not even in one country. It is not even here or in any country. All over the world, when you look at the parliament, the most of the gangsters, drug dealers, and the business people, and everybody is there. How it is possible? Where are all these educated people? Why it is very difficult for an educated person to get into this? Because in a certain level, we give up learning. So then for children, at least as parents, remember, don't allow them to be like you. Push them to learn something. Teach them to become a good leader one day, because then they start to think about it. You were lazy to study. You give up a lot of things on the way, and as a result of that, what happened? Everything overtaken by ignorance. So don't allow it to happen in the future for your children, at least. And so tell them to become a good leader. And so as parents, you can do it. If you tell your children to become a good person every day and become a better person every day, if you teach them, and then you will see how they're going to become. But if you tell them to, oh, this is enough, that is enough, this is enough, this is okay, just be like this, help me, like that, and they're going to become like that. So then don't stop yourself learning, and even don't allow anyone to stop their learning, and always push forward. That is one of the way that you develop your spiritual skills. Another one is the tyaga, the fourth one. So the sharing your life, the tyaga is just not only what you give hand to hands. What you give heart to heart is more powerful than what you give hands to hands. So then be careful. And sometimes we give things with hand to hand, very nice, beautiful things. But when we look at in the larger scale, because when it comes to world, we are the world. We are the people, we are the world. So when we look at the world, mostly we give greed, hatred, anger, heart to heart. So don't do that. Share your life with others and with the compassion, loving kindness. And so whenever you have opportunity and share what you have or help for others, at least give wisdom themselves to stand for themselves. So that is important, because this is anymore in the world. It's like you see that telegram, it disappeared from the world. Anymore no telegrams in world. Only in China, in one village, they still have this telegram. So it's already gone. So the same, like the poverty should not be in the world during this time period, because it doesn't make any sense. If the person say that the poor, it doesn't, there is something wrong. The reason is, in this very time period in the world, this is one of the best time period if the people think very carefully. And we are in the very good timeline. And if we able to share with others and start to think about others, the poverty and uneducation, so this kind of things cannot exist in the world. And health wise, and only the thing is, we fail to clean our heart from the greed, hatred, and the delusion. And that's why, otherwise the world itself not poor. The world itself naturally not ignorance. It has power to enlighten all of us. It has wisdom. The world itself has the wisdom to enlighten all of us. But when our heart is ignorance, it cannot accept us. Another thing is, we are not allow others to go towards it. So then remember, nothing wrong with the world, and you are in the very beautiful place, and you are in the very good time period in the world when you look at the human history. Only thing is, start to develop your spiritual life and share whatever you know, share whatever you have. Anymore, hold it to yourself with your caste and with your position and with your name, with your ego. It doesn't, it anymore in the world, it's not going to be valid. You're going to die with that. That's the only thing. You cannot stop the world going to go with its own way. But as a human, you have responsibility to take care of yourself, uplift your life, and share your life with others, help for others to become like that way. If you don't do it, the world going to be like that, but your own people going to suffer because of that, not other people. So that's why it is your responsibility to be educated, and at the same time share your wisdom and share what you have with others. And the fifth one is the panya. The panya means the wisdom, and this, when you know this path is work to get into this, when you know that having the conviction, having the faith, and the discipline, and studying yourself, and at the same time sharing your life, these things work. So that itself the wisdom. So then, as a gift, if you able to teach your children, even yourself, if you practice and you develop your spiritual vitality, and if you develop your spiritual immunity, so that is what we need, that is what you need. And so if you able to develop that with these 5 qualities, remember, wherever you go and whatever the situations come, you're going to be okay. And not only you, your environment, your other people, your husband, wife, parents, children, brothers, sisters, family members, everybody going to get healthy. And then anytime when a situation comes, you're not going to collapse. And even for your children, Always remember. And giving and pushing them towards something big, or and giving a big goal to their life is not. So teach them to develop their life with the spiritual foundation. Otherwise, wherever they go, whatever the height they climb, they will fall down. So that is not good. One person fell down means, and it is a failure of this entire humanity. Remember, one person suicide means it is not a one person suicide. It is a responsible for entire humanity. So then yourself, don't allow it to happen in the future. And it is your responsibility, then take care yourself, and you can do it. You can do it. You have strength, you have power, you have wisdom to do that. So only thing is find the right higher purpose and go for it. So there was a monk during Buddha's time. He went to practice meditation, and he was practicing meditation and was so tired, and he didn't get any kind of good results. So then what happened? He thought to give up, and thought, I go back to Buddha and I give up this and go out. I cannot overtake this mental formations inside me. It disturbed. So he gave up. On the way he saw a big fire and burning some area. So what he did, there was a mountain, he climbed to the mountain and started to watch the fire. And while watching the fire, he saw how this fire keep burning everything around it. And whatever it go, the fire start to burn everything and make it ashes. So this monk start to watch it and so, look, this fire has so much power to burn whatever come to it. Whatever it catch, it has power to burn. And then he understood, if the fire has power to burn anything, why my wisdom cannot burn the ignorance? And right away he sat down top of the mountain and start to practice meditation. And the Buddha was watching him from the temple. And the Buddha knew he going to attain to the enlightenment. And so the monk, with the great determination, looking at the fire and start to practice meditation and attain to the enlightenment. So with that, so remember yourself, when we look at the human history, our great ancestors went through many success in their life. And even 2,600 years ago, the Buddha, and from there are a lot of enlightened masters, there are a lot of spiritual leaders came to this world. And they achieved to many places, many positions in their journey. But ourselves, we have all these facilities in front of us. With that, all the knowledge and the wisdom, if you are suffer, there's nothing wrong with the world. So world have enough knowledge and wisdom to make you and uplift your life to the right place. Only thing is, open your heart and be available for that with the awareness. So with that, I bless upon everyone. With this good practice, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata chammi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.